bunch of quail. I just chased off the end row. Bunch of little ones. In the second to last soybean field of the year, not counting double crops. I got 44 acres here, and I got 79 across the road. Chance of rain this afternoon. If it doesn't rain, chance we'll be done with beans today. Now, if you remember back, I think in June, I did a drone video and flew over the 6 fields of this farm up here when we got 6 inches of rain in a few hours one evening. So that there is normally the best spot of this field, and maybe the best spot of all 6 of these fields. And you can see there's no beans out there, unfortunately. So we did make the decision not to come back up here and replant, because at the time it's getting later. We would have had to wait for it to dry out. We had some other stuff. I think we were still planting corn, I think. Maybe at the time, maybe not. Maybe we were doing side dress. But yeah, must have been doing side dress that late. But we thought, oh, if we come all the way back up here, we're going to tromp down some of the beans that are good. The beans in the wet holes are still going to be green when we come up here to harvest most of it. Then we have to come all the way back up here to harvest a few acres a second time. So chose not to replant. But yeah, the zero in the usually best spot of the field when we don't drown will hurt the yield. So we'll see, though. These beans are actually been doing kind of better than I thought in a couple of these fields up here. So it's sandy, but they can take the water, except in those low spots, some of that black ground. So that's all right. That is a really good spot, though. I know I get out of there, that little area, 300 bushel corn sometimes, and it's like taller than the cab of the combine. So it grows some pretty crazy stuff in that little pocket there. So anyway, we're dealing with what we got, but beans are almost done. We're running one man short for at least part of the day, so that's why I'm unloading on the grain cart, not on the go. My grain cart driver just took a full truck to go unload it. My dad should be back here before too long. He's bringing me lunch also, because we started early up here, and I said if somebody brings me something, I'll just stay up here. So our regular truck driver we use in the fall, he's actually the assistant police chief in town, and I think as of yesterday the police chief retired, so he's got a few extra duties. He says he can do a few hours in the morning and then be coming out to us for the rest of the day, except today he has a meeting with the mayor this afternoon. So if it doesn't rain, he'll probably be back this evening. I will say this is the best area of aerial applied cover crop we have so far, because didn't have any shade from the beans, so got a good start on that. So good start on 2023, let's say that. Fun fact, if you want to know why those beans right there are still green and not dry and mature like the whole rest of the field, beans do their life cycle by length of day, and there's a security light right there, so they think it's daytime a lot more often, so they haven't given it up yet. Two things. I must have bumped into something earlier, because I got a whole circle of fingers out of line here, not hard to put back. And I also think that the reel probably shouldn't be wearing a hole in the crop divider. I wonder if it'll jump over or something is broken. A little self-clearancing action going on there. I have to look at this. If I compare the two sides, this is the non-busted side. That one is definitely further to the outside than the other side. This one's definitely to the inside a few inches, but if I move it up and down, if I go all the way up, it's barely, not quite touches the reel. I'm not sure what's got it shoved over, tweaked at the moment, but I will run it for a while and see that it doesn't get worse. It's also a good spot to stop and show you the cover crop that's out here. That was flown on, I think, the first Friday in September. So this is annual ryegrass. So this will survive the winter, and we'll kill this off about 2 weeks before we plant corn. This guy right here is a tillage radish. So those are like the daikon radishes you see at the grocery store. The big long white ones, they're kind of like that. And never have used this before. This guy here with all the little leaves, that is a hairy vetch. So that's a new cover crop for us. So see how that does. It's supposed to be a nitrogen fixer, I believe. Growing pretty nice in this spot right here. Yeah, carpet of green before too long. So I think what I'm going to do now, since I don't have a truck and the cart, I would say that is full. I'm going to mess with that, maybe read the book a little bit, see if there's a left to right adjustment. I know there's an up and down. I don't know about left to right. That's because it might rain sometime this afternoon. Kind of doesn't look like it, but the radar shows there's something coming. So you don't want beans to get wet. So that I could put a tarp on. The combine I can't put a tarp on. So I don't really want to put any more beans in the combine since it's empty, in case it does rain before a truck gets back. So see if I can find anything with that. I don't see anything bent or anything. I haven't seen it yet anyway, so I'll poke around for a minute and see what I can find out. That looks promising. Side-to-side adjustment of permaglide divider assembly. So there's the height adjustment. I know how to do that one. I just never messed with the other. Side-to-side. If more clearance is desired between end of reel and inside edge of divider point, loosen the 4 cap screws. Yes, I've seen those, and adjust it. Oh, interesting. That's pretty easy. I will go give that a try. There's a little evidence on the wobble box. I got into something and shoved it over. Maybe a scar there. Get those cap screws loosened and see what happens. Not sure where those screws are yet, but that's definitely had a unintended adjustment. I know why I can't find them. They are on this part, and that part is in the tool shed, because we took those off because those are dumb, and put on those rods in place of those because these are just a pain in the butt, so we took them off. So I'm bent. I got bent. I think what it is this bracket's kind of bent. You can see that bottom bolt. It's actually, the slotted hole is torn out through the edge, I think. Looks like maybe it's a little farther apart back there. I'm just going to tighten that and see what happens. We can take this off and straighten it out, but just about done with these beans, and maybe it's going to rain, so I really don't want to do that in the field. If I keep my reel up, it stays out of the crop divider, so hopefully I can keep my reel up a little higher most of the time, and we'll deal with this later. Truck's back. Sprinkles on the windshield. Pretty sure we're done. It's not raining very much. I'm still making dust, but it's coming according to the radar, so I'm going to not take another bite out of the field. Past history says most of the time I do that, I get caught and wish I hadn't. Might sit up here for 5 or 10 minutes, see what happens, but don't have high hopes we're running the rest of the day. A little slick on the road. You'll just dump this and head home. It's really pretty good timing on this rain delay. We got some school stuff, parent-teacher conferences this week. It's supposed to rain more tomorrow, I think, so probably not harvest tomorrow, and actually be good for the cover crops. It will be good for all the wheat that got planted last week and dry fertilizer spread, so get that all nice and soaked in. I'd like to say it'd be good for the double crop beans, but with the frost they got last week, they might be beyond that benefit of rain. They really got worked on by that frost, but yeah, we'll get a little downtime out of the field, maybe catch up on a few other things, and get some stuff done with the kids as well. So, be back to it in a couple days probably.